All right, just finished getting this end done here. This is the end that's taking a new bushing here. And I got that within thousandths of an inch of that one over there. And this end here, I did that yesterday, and I got that finished out too. I think it's within 2 thou of that side there, if I remember correctly. So I'll get this all stripped down and cleaned up. And the next step, I think, is going to be to start finishing off the bushings here. So now I will make this fit on there, those two, by turning this out, finish the ID, get them fitted up real nice. And then I think I'm going to, well, I'm going to get them close for OD and then heat treat them. And I think I want to do a final OD after I've heat treated them. I haven't done a lot of heat treating of bushings, so I'm not 100% sure which way they're going to move. But I got to think they're going to shrink slightly, so I want to leave a little material on there to be able to turn down to get it just right, because this is going to be a ugly press fit. So I want to make sure I get that right. I don't have any fancy liquid nitrogen or anything, so it's going to be sticking it in the freezer. Hope for the best. Heat up the other side, heat up the bore. So yeah, that's where we're at. So let's get to work. All right, got the heat treating happening here today for my bushings. Got them sitting inside there, getting nice and toasty. I just kind of cobbled together a little bit of a, I don't know, forge oven. Just using some roofing tile and a welding blanket. Just trying to keep a little bit of heat in there. And using a Tiger torch on a propane bottle. Got my jug of oil there for quenching it when the time comes. I got about, let's see, I think they say about an hour per inch for heat soaking that at 1600 degrees or so. So I got about, I figure that's about ½ inch thick, so got another 25 minutes or so. Just let that continue to heat in there. Oh yeah, that's looking, it's actually looking perfect for as best I can tell from what they say with the color charts of what color red that's supposed to be. It's looking good so far, so yeah. Anyway, just hanging out. Maybe I could do a little cleanup while I'm waiting. That sounds like a good plan. I'll do that. All right, she's looking good. Got them done. I heated them up, I dunked them in oil. did my thing. They're probably not as hard as they could be, but I think they're going to do the trick. I wasn't really hoping for too much anyway, so I did check them with file there, and they're definitely harder than the original material, so that's good. And I tried them, just slipped them on my shaft here, and it feels like the fit is exactly the same as what it was before, so I don't think they moved at all dimensionally, so I think they're going to be fine. But I will chuck them in the lathe and put a gauge on them and see if there's any run out or warpage or anything. I'm not expecting much on that anyway, so I will give those a, let's see, a final pass for an OD. Get them dialed right in for the right size for pressing into there, and then figure out how I'm going to press them into there. I'm thinking long bolt and some big plates on the end, and we'll just suck them in that way. I'll probably heat this end up here a little bit. I think I can probably do that. Maybe throw the bushings in the freezer or something. I don't have no fancy nitrogen or nothing, so it'll be what it's going to be. I'm not going to make them too tight in there. Maybe a couple thou over. So that's it for tonight. I think I'm going to go home and find something cold and frosty. Catch you on the next one. All right, so that went really well. I just got that bushing installed. I just turned it down, got my OD figured out, a couple thou interference fit, and then I heated it up with the Tiger torch here, the Boss there, and I got about 4 or 5 thou out of it just by heating it up for 5 minutes. So slipped that sucker in, and it locked up within 5 seconds, which was just perfect. I didn't have much time to work with. I made myself kind of a puller here just with some ready rod and scrap steel, and I was expecting to have to suck that in with the impact, but I got lots of expansion out of that. Pretty happy with that, actually. So next step is this one. I decided to do them one at a time, just so I could do sort of a trial and error here. So that is the one for right there. And that one is a slightly different diameter. I'm about 1.5 to 2 thou different between this one and the other half of the machine there. So I don't know if you can see this okay, but so 1 thou different there. Pretty much bang on right there. So that's 1 thou over, which means this end is about 1 thou thinner right there, narrower. So I'm going to hit that with a flap wheel real quick, just to make sure. And then I'll remeasure, make sure we get that dialed in. So yeah, bore gauge is pretty sweet. A lot more fun than using snap gauges for sure. Okay, cool. Let's get to it. Yeah, it's turning nicely here. And I think I'm basically right on size too. We'll check in a second here. You can see that's a little harder there. Some sparks coming out. Just got her finished off, hit my target bang on. So now it's time to heat this thing and drop her in there. Hopefully, I did notice this sucker is harder than the other one. So I'm hoping I can drill through that for the grease hole without too much trouble. Maybe I should have thought of that sooner. I guess I could have, but anyway, it'll all work out in the end, I'm sure. All right, time to grab the bottle and the Tiger torch and get some heat on there. This one's going to take a little more because we got like that whole section there to warm up. It's going to take a little more heat, a little more time. So anyway, let's clear space here. Get on it. It's like a little jet engine. Fun. Okay, I just checked it. I'm about 6 thou oversized, expanded with the heat here now. So I should have 3 thou bigger than my bushing. But I've got my drawbar here ready and waiting to go just in case things go sideways. Where's my impact? Oh, over there. I better get that ready too. All right, she's all done. It's in there. That one went not quite as smooth. Still pretty good though. It, as soon as I touched the board there, it started getting tight, so I quickly grabbed the sledgehammer. Fortunately, I'd pulled that out ahead of time. Gave it a few hits and she popped in, no problem. So that's great. That'll be a nice tight fit. I'll see what the the IDs look like once things cool off here, and might have to buff them a little bit with a flap wheel. Next step would be the pin here. I got to build up this side now, weld it up and turn it down to size. That would be for this end here. Same thing over on that one. Those ones were the ones that I line bored out to clean up to size, and I was going to make this to match. So we're close on that. I just in the middle of making a welding positioner for this thing out of my rotary table, and I think I just got to do a little drive system for that. That should be no problem. I think I got some ideas. Oh, and I wanted to do like some support bearings there, of course. You've got to support the entire shaft. So maybe I'll work on that right now. Yeah, I got lots of time. All right, let's get to work. All right, got things set up here with my homemade welding positioner. Just a little motor driving my rotary table here. Then I just built a little adapter for a 5C collet. I had that set up for another project, and yeah, just welded a little chunk of pipe onto here. This is the pin retaining plate. So I figured, oh yeah, that'll work well. So yeah, turn her on, turn her up, and away she spins. So it's a little bit, doesn't quite have the torque down at the lower speeds. So it'll be a question of whether that's spinning too fast to weld. But I will find out shortly here. So let's get to work. Okay, is that not the ugliest weld you ever seen? It's not pretty, but it's done. My homemade welding positioner sort of worked. I really need less speed out of this. I started trying it and it was way too fast, and I gave up and I just welded like 1/8 of a shaft at a time, turned it, welded another section, turned it. So it ended up looking like that. I would kind of start too low, go too far over to this side, and so it would droop on this side and then be hollow on that side, and ended up being lumpy and bumpy. So I did that for most of the shaft, and then I got down to here and I figured, you know what would happen if I threw my battery charger on the battery that I'm running that thing off of, which gave me a little bit more jam, a little more voltage on the pulse width modulator, which let it go slower. So this little bit right here actually turned out half okay. So better than this stuff anyway. Still not great, but anyway, the material's on there. And now it's time to chuck it in the lathe. Well, no, now it's time to let it cool down, but then I will chuck it in the lathe and turn it between centers and knock that down to size. So getting one step closer. We'll see how tomorrow goes. All right, finally got this knocked out. It is done. I picked away at it a couple hours at a time after work every day, and a weekend here or there, and finally got her banged out. It is nice and tight now. Instead of having like 200 thou a play, I've got like 2 thou, which is awesome. My last pin down there, I just needed to cross drill that and put the retaining bolt in there. Got her all assembled. Everything's feeling real nice. So all I need now is an excavator to try it out with. But I got mine out on a rental right now, so I won't be seeing it for a little while. Other than maybe a coat of paint, which I'd like to throw at this thing, the only thing I really wanted to do is slow it down a little bit. I'm running this off the thumb circuit on the machine, and it's a little touchy. I've just got bang bang solenoids on there, not proportional. So when you hit the button, that thing flicks pretty fast. So I think my plan of attack is going to be to just in between the hose and the coupler here, I'm going to grab, like, I don't know, maybe a cap and a nipple, weld them together, and then drill a hole for the oil flow, and I can make that hole whatever size I want. So I don't know, maybe I'll start at like a 1/4 of an inch and expect that to be a little bit slow, and then just open up that hole until I'm happy with the speed. So I think that's going to be the plan, but I'll have to do that once I get my machine back and I can try testing it. So anyway, long project, but thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next one.